Episode 3 Mr. Finkerhopper. October 2019. "Why don't you like my costume?" Luni asked in fifth hour. She tugged at her pointed hat, wanting to in part cover her entire face if it would make Taylor stop staring at her. "What are you even?" she asked. "I'm an evil witch," Luni said, raising her hand in the air, pretending to wave a wand. Taylor crossed her arms and raised her shoulders high. "That's not what it looks like," Taylor pouted. "The word is offensive." Luni found herself blushing. "I thought I looked cute." "You are. No, it's... Real witches are a lot darker than that. That's a very unrealistic portrayal." "What do you mean? I bought this at the Spirit Barn? I think you're on the weird and occult side of the metaphorical mountain." "Oh my god, Luni, it's not you." "Never mind that. I hate all this magic worship stuff. Everyone wants to be a witch or wizard or have powers or that." Her voice changed to a mocking tone. "Some seem to be unnatural, to quote Disney. Why can't people be themselves and stop wishing they were something else?" "You don't think I look cute, then?" Luni asked with a hint of disappointment. "I didn't say that," Taylor answered, opening her book bag. "I'm saying if anyone actually controlled magic, they would hate it so much that they would want to be rid of it." "Do you study for the quiz at all?" "No," Luni said. "I spent the evening trying on this costume with different outfits. See which one looked better." In her mind, she added the words, "to you." Throughout the test, she hardly focused on her work, in part because her pencil was chipped and she didn't want to sharpen it in front of the other students, and because something about disappointing that girl gave her stomach butterflies. "I shouldn't feel this way," she thought. "I don't know what I'm doing," she thought 5 years later. The sunlight crept in over the potted plants sitting in the windowsill. After some searching, Luni found 7 vase-looking objects and filled them with dirt she found in a bag under the store's front tea counter. 3 were made of misty glowing glass, 2 of red flimsy tin sort of material, and 2 looked like bone. "Why is there a bag of dirt laying out in a tea shop?" she thought. No wonder the city closed the shop. But as the thought occurred, she noticed from the view from the window a man in a trench coat and a blue top hat approaching the store. He seemed determined to enter. Remembering that the front doors had been smashed, Luni ran downstairs to greet the shop guest. Pieces of broken glass did not seem to faze the man. Instead, he stood at the counter, hitting his hand into his fist. "Where is Braylon? The sun is rising. I am late. We don't have much time. I need my..." He stopped and looked hard at Luni, who stood in an oversized hoodie, not wearing any pants. Her hair looked like a complete mess. "I need my breakfast tea," he said. "I'm sorry, the shop's closed." Remembering her appearance, she moved closer to the cash register and hid her legs from the sight of the man. "Forget the city code." His voice grew in anger and desperation. "I need my tea now or I get cranky." "I can't, Luni started to say. "Look, girl," he said, "all you have to do is heat water, put the leaves in the strainer, and hand me the cup. That's it. This isn't a college final. I am always the first customer. I always come in here first thing every morning. I must have my oblong tea." "You said English tea, didn't you?" Luni said. "Whatever. It should be marked anti-morning werewolf." "Don't look at me like that. They are allowed to write whatever they want to advertise on products these days. Hurry!" "I can't. I don't even work here." She shifted and looked to the ceiling. As she did, a beam of light came through the broken door onto the man. It sent him to his knees. "No! My soul! My soul!" he cried in agony. Okay, Luni shouted. Searching the tea display case, none of the bottles said anything about anti-morning werewolf at all. The one marked silver wildflower seemed possible, but she couldn't give him something if it actually had silver in it. The man's trench coat and hat fell to the floor, and he tossed and turned. He grabbed at his chest and clenched his teeth. "Please, make my suffering stop." One bottle stood out. Written in sloppy handwriting read, "Happy Morning Glory Blend." She found the water boiling machine, though it looked different than anything she had seen before. The stone oven-looking device swirled and steamed. With a ding, a cup of hot water appeared in front of her on the counter, spewing out sparkling dust. While the man kept rolling on the floor, she threw the leaves in the strainer, put the strainer in the cup, and walked to the man. The water turned red. On seeing this, the man replied, still in pain, "That's not the usual color, but give it to me." Luni helped him sit and tried to steady the man's trembling hands to pour a drink into his mouth. As he drank, his arms disappeared and his entire body vanished before her. The man transformed into a wolf before her eyes. "Woof," said the wolf, sounding annoyed. "Oh no." Another man walked in, looking normal, humming a cheerful song to himself. "Morning. You must be a fill-in. I'll have an English breakfast, please. She has one labeled Happy Morning Glory. It's awesome." The man saw the dog sitting at his feet. "Oh, hello, Mr. Finkerhopper. Who's a good dog?" "Woof," said the dog sadly, walking behind the counter to a pet bed laying on the floor. The dog bit into a leash sitting nearby and looked at Luni, waiting. Luni let out a distressed sigh. What if this other man needed special herbs too? Would he turn into a cow if he didn't get it? Even worse, this could look bad as the champion of Whistler's Bay Brawl or whatever if she didn't help one of their magic user people. But what if she gave the wrong person something and turned them into a newt? Looked hard at the waiting dog, pondering her decision. "Coming right up," she said. The dog whined. After putting on clothes and heading back down, the third customer walked in, one of whom had the nerve to ask for a cold brew with extra foam and a shot of cinnamon, of all things. Luni found a piece of paper and wrote, "We'll be back," with a feather quill, and placed it on the register. She took Mr. Finkerhopper out for a walk. Before she left, a woman hurried into the store, looking into her purse. "I have an unpleasant meeting with my ex-husband's lawyers. The scum-sucking vampires. Where's my tea?" Luni rushed back into the store to answer the lady, who was addressing the cash register for some reason. But instead, a deep, silky voice came from nowhere. "I do apologize, madam, but the young woman filling in today has gone on a walk. She will return in prompt time. I do apologize for the inconvenience. If you would like, you can wait and help yourself to a biscuit." It hit Luni that the voice came from the paper she had written on, which somehow now had a smiling, talking mouth drawn on it. She let out another sigh. "I need to be careful what I use in this shop," she thought. Before leaving, she heard the woman say, "Is that a paper bag talking? If yes, I want the strongest biscuit you got." The wolf pulled harder in the leash, seeming to know what direction he wanted to go. She turned back to the window above the shop, hoping some sort of magic would have brought back the 7 seeds into people. And didn't. Instead, she saw empty vases. And a line of people lined up at the shop. She let out a horrified gasp. The dog jolted her around a street corner, pulling her with him. "Why can't you go yourself? I can't leave all those people in that shop," Luni said. The dog stopped and looked up at a sign. It read, "All dogs must be leashed, or they will be impounded. City ordinance." "Impounded? Like a car?" Luni asked, before realizing how silly it sounded. Okay, I'm gonna trust you. If you help me. I am way over my head and I don't know what to do." The dog took off in a run again, dragging her along until they reached a public library. Luni, panting, looked in confusion at the half-run-down building. The dog signaled with its head to open the doors. She pointed to a sign reading, "Service Animals Only." Again, the dog nodded at the door. "Woof," it said. What kind of service do you need? Luni said. She opened the doors, and the two wandered inside. The dog hurried past two suited men reading stacks of giant books. They walked to the checkout counter. A woman smiled at the dog before frowning. Oh, he's not coming in to work, she said. His arthritis must be so bad he can't call in again. Poor thing. Thank you, Sparky, for coming to tell me. Her voice sounded very casual in talking to the creature. She looked up. Oh, you must be the one filling in at the tea shop today. You know, the whole town is talking about it. Wanting to give a shop a try now that there's a nice fill-in. How long will she be gone? Braylon's special book arrived. The librarian handed Luni a book titled The High Wizard of Snufferclyde and the Evil Abomination Grobobolopopkus. What's this about? Luni asked. Nothing. It's blank, the librarian said. All the pages, the cover, the back cover, looks useless to me. The book did not appear blank to Luni. Instead, she saw handwritten in blue ink, Level 1 Magic License Required. The pages seemed to be accounting for something that resembled a tabloid paper or a gossip article. On the cover was a painted, wild-eyed man with a bluish-gray beard. He wore a goofy hat and looked angrily at a castle sticking out of the ocean. The librarian didn't seem to see it. People drive from all over the coast to ask for these blank books all the time. Please bring this back to the rude girl. That would be great. As she spoke, Mr. Finkerhopper had taken a romance book in the history section and walked over to its correct place on the shelf. The dog shook its head. Luni took the book, thanked the lady, and went to grab the leash. It's okay, you can let Sparky stay here if you'd like, the librarian said. He's a helpful boy, and it's so sad to see his friend Fido so sick. His owner said she's gonna have to put the poor thing down soon. The dog let out a sigh sounding, woof. Oh, Sparky wants to help me in this shop, Luni said. Mr. Finkerhopper growled. She excused herself and walked over to confront the dog who stood rearranging the flower book section. You promised you'd help, Luni scoffed. The dog shot an angry look and pointed with his snout towards the book Luni held. The two men with stacks of books started arguing over historical facts. The dog let out a sharp bark. They quieted. He went back to rearranging. You liar, I trusted you. The wolf paid no attention to her. With no choice, she hurried towards the shop and flipped through the book as she walked. She tried to comprehend its pages. Partly because of the cursive writing, every other word was gibberish to her. But from the pictures, she guessed the book was about an evil creature summoned by a powerful magic user. The beast caused destruction as depicted in drawings. A hero named Barry Dicknine sealed the creature away, but the magic in the seal can only last a year. Once a year, a champion must open it, inserting 7 Protinium Toffle seeds. After the creature is defeated, the seal can once again be enacted for the following year. The story ended with the mention of a group within the city, shown with stick figures called the NBS, who wanted to defeat the glorious Barry for evil purposes. She read from cover to cover, looking for any information, but she found little. Mr. Finkerhopper didn't help at all. This children's story isn't even very well written, she thought. Protinium Toffles seemed to be the only useful mention that she could correlate, but that part of the book that stated a Protinium Toffle was an extratillion pertophivus spell from a magical plant, from the family Babergidleypeleosis. The gibberish was not helpful to Luni. She kept walking, hoping to find better answers at the tea shop. All of the sorry biscuits were gone, and a line to the next block had formed at the door of the shop. Unlike the hat-wearing weirdo who had wandered in and rudely turned into a wolf, they looked like normal West Coasters. Well, as normal as it looks there with some wearing heavy coats and beanies while others wearing shorts and t-shirts. How am I going to figure out how to save the other contestants I turn into seeds if people don't stop showing up at the shop? She thought. Sure, the store wasn't hers to open. Braylon had talked about how desperate she was for cash. What would a better apology be for, I'm sorry I turned you into a perennial toffle seed, than running the shop? As long as she kept the magic stuff secret, it shouldn't be a big deal. Besides, she had won the brawl for giving any town violations. Surely, that made it okay. The thought of being worth something to someone drove her. She placed the book near the cash register, and with the first rag she found in the sink, wiped down the dusty counter. After she had thrown the washcloth back, people clapped and cheered. "Wow, that's amazing! How did you do that?" someone shouted. "I'm going to tell all my friends about this place." The counter had turned to gold. In a panic, she removed the rag from the sink and threw it towards the dog bed and out of the way of grabby hands, in case someone stole it and took it home with them. After a while, she figured out how to use the normal water boiler sitting on the glistening counter. She made yerba mate tea with soy milk and brown sugar, and peppermint tea with the sugar peppermint syrup, and a great number of ginseng tea in place of all the coffee everyone kept ordering. There was no menu with prices, so she wrote one, forgetting about what happened the last time. She placed it by the door so people in line could see it before they ordered. She heard the menu talking to people and asking questions about their drink orders. Was $5 for green tea and $1 a shot of syrup okay? She had no idea, especially with the high coast prices, but she had something to go off of. "I'd like a yellow tea and a cucumber sandwich to go," she heard a woman say. Luni froze. "Luni?" the woman asked. She cursed, to the bewilderment of the people standing in line. "Taylor! Hi." The woman, with short blonde hair, wore a windbreaker and tight black sweatpants. She looked to Luni almost the same as she had in high school. Light brown skin, oval-shaped face, and high cheekbones framed her almost almond eyes, looking very Dene, or Navajo. "What are you doing here?" Taylor asked. "Where is Braylon? You can't—" She looked behind her at the line of people. "Work." Luni said nothing in reply, but instead fulfilled her order. Not knowing how to make a cucumber sandwich, she sliced up some vegetables she found in the bin and slapped some mayo between lettuce and white bread. She handed Taylor the sandwich and teacup. "First of all," Taylor said, "that is zucchini, not cucumber. Second, that tea is used for a love brew. That won't work on me. And third, what the hell? I haven't seen you in like 5 years, Luni. And you randomly appear in a shop no one is supposed to go to? Where is Braylon?" "Hurry up, you're holding up the line," a person behind her said. "She's away for a while. For personal growth," Luni said, waving Taylor off. "I'm taking over for her for the foreseeable future. Next, please." "You do not know what you are doing at all. Like the book you have out. Why do you have that out?" She pointed to the book the librarian had given to her. "It's blank," Luni said. "No, that is not. That is the account of the Grobobolopopkis incident, which is not to be allowed to be discussed in public." Luni turned her back and pretended to go wash dishes, even though the sink in the back she turned on poured out no water. "I'm doing fine on my own," Luni yelled to Taylor. Someone stood up and started celebrating. "I won the lottery! I'm rich! This is the best day of my life!" Luni looked at the tea she had served a man called Day-Long Serendipity. Taylor made her way behind the counter and threw on an apron. "What are you doing?" Luni asked, crossing over to her as the next person in line asked for a coffee. "I'm giving you a hand, you Whitlock idiot, before the council arrives and throws me in prison. It's not safe for you to be here, much less work here. I need to know everything you know as soon as we get this line taken care of." Taylor pointed to the counter. "And don't use that rag." "Well, Luni cursed. "Know that now, don't I? No customers behind the counter." "Go," Taylor cursed. "Yourself and go," she cursed again. "That sandwich you tried serving me." I can handle myself, Luni said. There's the lie of the year. Taylor started removing several jars of obviously not normal tea stuff from the tea display, such as the get what you want but not in the way you wanted it brew. If you don't let me help you, I'm calling the council myself because I do not want to be sent to the adult magic education classes again. Is this payback? Luni asked. Taylor hesitated before shrugging. Luni let out a frustrated groan. She realized there would be no talking her out of it. There was no choice but to deal with the firecracker. Fine, Luni muttered. For a long while she took orders while Taylor worked to fill them. This brought about strong feelings she could not ignore, especially when she tried giving someone tea called Exploding Poppy. Taylor scolded her for the obvious magic tea Braylon must have left in the case. This outburst from Taylor reminded her of the high school drama class fight, the one where she got hit in the face with the dodgeball repeatedly. When she had given Taylor the wrong audition piece, confident in her performance, Taylor had volunteered to go first and gave a passionate, loud monologue. Luni had given her a scene from a Woody Allen film, which did not go over well. Taylor was asked to sit down due to not having followed directions. She glared with her face red at Luni for the entire audition. Luni felt that same glare as she tried the work in the shop. Even with that feeling, there was another that felt misplaced to her. In some sick way, she was glad Taylor showed up. This both felt great and weird at the same time. Not until hours later, the two finally put up another sign when everyone had been served, and noon came upon them. Taylor knocked twice on a red door in the back of the shop. When she opened it, a light shone from the other side, brighter than the sun. They walked through the door. Luni found herself surrounded by tiny flowers of all colors on a grassy hill. Somehow, blue sky lay overhead, and the wind carrying the scent of flower petals wafted by. The tea shop has a house-moving castle room, Luni thought. If Braylon ever wakes up from being a flower, maybe she'll let me live here. In the tea shop closet? The shop is low, so we need to pick as we talk. Quick. Why are you working here out of all places? Taylor collected the lavender into a bag. Taylor, are you one of them? Whatever these weird vegetable-wielding people are, she asked. That's not important, Taylor said. There's a lot of dangerous things in here that Braylon attends to that only she knows about. Why do you have a book about the High Wizard? I don't know. The librarian gave it to me. I can't understand it. Does it contain anything about growing seeds in the people? Luni asked. Taylor stopped picking a petal and turned. Into people? How do you know about the magic brawl? Did you stumble into the arena? Luni took a few steps away to a point overlooking a lake. Machines and tubes send the steam lake water back to the shop. Taylor grew impatient and placed a hand on her shoulder. Luni backed away further. Easy, Taylor said. I'm not gonna punch you. If you know where those seeds are, you need to tell me. Forget the council members being ticked. The entire city is in danger, including those 7 people if they're not handled. If the Grobobolo-Popkus breaks the seal, it will be unleashed upon the normals. And the last time we almost died if it was not for the... She scoffed. Dick Nine, the great gatekeeper of magic. It's okay, I have planted all the seeds in vases upstairs, Luni said. Taylor gasped. You didn't... Tell me you didn't plant them. Luni shrugged. What else are you supposed to do with seeds? They're gonna grow again and release the people inside them, right? No, Taylor said, placing her hand on her head. Okay, I am gonna punch you. How do you have them? I won the brawl, I guess. What do you mean I wasn't supposed to plant them? Not like that, you Whitlock, Taylor shouted. You had them planted the entire time and you had us working all morning? What is wrong with you? We have to go get them. Now.